All right, welcome. So today I want to create a tessellation. All right, so let's start like this. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to create three segments that together are joined to make a triangle. All right, so let's see. Select here, select segment, and I'm going to just make a random triangle like this. Okay. The next thing is I don't want to see these labels for the line segments themselves. So I'm going to show you a tool that I have here called Show Hide Labels. Okay, I'm going to click there, and I'm going to just select this, and notice how it goes away. If I click again, it comes back. So it's hiding the label. That's all I'm doing. That's a faster way of getting rid of all the labels. I'm going to leave. Well, no, I'm going to get rid of A, B, and C as well. So let me get rid of A, B, and C. All right, so we're good now. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go and insert midpoints, and I'm going to put a midpoint pretty much in between each of these line segments. So here, there, and I want you to notice that I don't even have to click in the middle. I can click anywhere as long as it's part of that line. I'll click here on purpose and take a look. There. This is guaranteed to be a midpoint, so right in the middle. Okay, let me go here to this, move. All right, so now what I'll do is, let me move this label, see if it lets me. Okay, it doesn't let me. I'm gonna adjust my triangle. I can make it look any way that I want. I'll spread it out a little bit. There we go. So next thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna add some random points. I'm gonna come here and add a point. And I'm gonna put a point between D, and this would have been B, I believe. Okay, so between this point here and that top point, I'll put one dot right there. Now here's the problem. I don't want to keep seeing labels because then I got to keep using this tool, okay? Which is fine, but I'm going to end up with a whole bunch of labels. So what I think I'll do before I continue is I'm going to go here to my settings tool, click here, and then click settings again. Find where it says labeling, and instead of having automatic labels, what I'll do is I'm going to say no new objects. Okay. Now I purposely want to keep D, E, and F, but I don't want to do any more objects. So let's see if that works. I added a point here between these two. Now I'm not going to do anything on this half of it. I'll go to this half of it on the bottom segment, and I'm going to add a random point here. See, no labels. Then I'm going to come over here between this corner and E, and I'm going to add a point there. Now I could add more points, definitely. It would make the image a lot more interesting, but for our purposes, this will be good enough. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to create, use this tool. It's called Reflect About the Points. I'm going to do a reflection of the points I just created. And it goes like this. Select the point you added with the midpoint. Here's the reflection. Select the point you added with the midpoint. Here's the reflection. The point you added, midpoint, here's the reflection. Okay. Once you've added all of those extra points, go to the polygon tool, and starting from the corner, I choose the top corner. Connect the dots. Purposely ignore the midpoint and go straight to the reflection. Then the corner, the new point, its reflection, the corner, the new point, and the reflection. By the time you go all the way around, come back to the point where you started. And now you have an image. Now, by the way, once you have this image, there's no reason why you can't mess with the image a little bit. Notice some of the points don't move. Only the original ones move. Okay, so I'm going to put it so that it looks kind of symmetrical. Something like this. And here's the cool part. Once you've put your picture anywhere you want, and you can change the triangle as well to modify the picture. Once you've done that, what you can do now is you're going to go back to this tool, Reflect About Point, and you click the image and the midpoint. Click the image and the next midpoint. Click the image and the next midpoint. And I went from D to E to F. Now, you can also add, this particular step can also be done from one midpoint to another. And so if I want to see more midpoints in my picture, I can go from here to here. That would give me this information, this little midpoint. I can go from here to here, midpoint, here to here, midpoint. But I can also go backwards. So for example, from here to here, I got this. I can go from D to E, and that will give me that midpoint, kind of the opposite direction. Now, why would I want to add these extra midpoints? Well, it's easy. Once I have that, I can select the object, followed by that new midpoint, object, midpoint, object, midpoint. And notice how I am able to now create a more complicated picture. I can zoom out. I'm going to zoom out of my image a little bit. And I can go here to this and kind of move my, see if it lets me, move my object around a little bit. Let's see if that lets me. It's a little bit complicated because there's a lot of information here. What I will do now is I'm going to select my little triangle outline, and I will make it into this little broken little dot section. See, the triangle there is kind of like my guide, but it wasn't the only thing I used or anything, the only thing I needed. Now, what this does tell me though is that this triangle is where the shape kind of started to take place. Okay? So it gives me a kind of a heads up of this is the original point. Now, I am allowed to click on each individual image and change its color, which I might choose to do just to be able to differentiate between one and the others. And also it makes it a little bit more colorful. So I'm going to choose to do this to it. And I only want this one to be the dark one for now, just so that it stands out. No other real reason. But notice that I can go through and add whatever color I want as I go through each of these. And I'll purposely go in order like this. There's no real rhyme or reason to it yet. It's just me making choices. So this one stays the same. And then this one will be that color. And now I have something that is a tessellation. It is something that can be modified and changed so that it makes it more interesting. I can make it look like almost anything I want. I know that I took out the labels and these labels showed up. The only reason these labels showed up is because my original D, E, and F were there. So if I don't want to see these labels, I can now go here, show and hide, and then select those points to get rid of those labels. I probably would still keep D, E, and F, but I would just purposely hide these labels now. And then I can repeat the process to just make my tessellation more complete. All right. I hope that made sense. Okay. And this is what you'll be adding onto your document. All right.